Hi, it's 3:30 a.m. right now and everything feels so peaceful, calm. The house is asleep and the world feels so far away. And for the first time in my life, I realized that I don't want to feel small about wanting more. I was sitting here and reading this book, Cash Flow Quadrant, from the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, like at around midnight. And it was around at that time, it stuck to me that even though I haven't read much of that book, I have just read a chapter or two. It stuck to me that um, I don't really, I didn't really take responsibility about money, even though financial freedom and stability mattered so much to me. I started to think about whatever I wanted to do with my life. It was not, it was never put into some boxes like I want to be an engineer, that's it. No, that was not a clear goal I had in mind. I wanted to have something more to do with my life, something that transcends these traditional concepts, these traditional professions, something that involves a lot of things, that has a whole path, that has some meaning to my life, other than just getting some knowledge and doing a job and climbing the corporate ladder. I wanted to have something more in my life. I was never the type of person that could fit in any one box. I've always had a lot of hobbies. I have always been this wild rider of the universe that wanted to explore a lot of things, that wanted to do a lot. I could never put myself in a box like that. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be an astronaut, I wanted to be an engineer, I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to learn so many different things, and I still do enjoy learning a lot of things. Like, I always am found with a book. Somehow, everywhere I go, I carry a book, or I like to learn to play instruments, or I'd like to learn about consciousness, or I'd like to just study people, study psychology, study um, cosmology, astrology, whatever is the subject. If there is some base to it, or if I find it interesting, I'd like to learn about it and not be bounded, not be limited by my traditional degree or my job, and not limiting my life into these boxes that are that we are forced to live in by the current structure of the society. And this, I never thought that it was achievable. I started leaving my passions, leaving my hobbies, that if I need to research about consciousness because I just want to, and on the other hand, if I have to study coding for cracking an interview, I'll have to choose studying DSA so that I could crack the interview. And this is how I realized that I had started to really do whatever I wanted to do. I could never feel passionate about anything because my motivation was not from within me, but due to restrictions imposed to me by lack of money, or in an attempt to prove myself. Because I have always been this kid who was very logical, who was very ambitious, who wanted to learn, who wanted to seek truth, who wanted to know more, who wanted to study physics, who wanted to learn about planets, who wanted to learn about consciousness and understand things, research more, and not be limited by constructs which run the society. And as I was reading this book, The Cash Flow Quadrant, the author, Robert Kiyosaki, he has had two professional degrees, and he has worked worked for as an um, in the army or in the air force something. He had a degree of a pilot, and these things, even though they were finest professions, they were not fulfilling him as a person. He wanted his life to be more. He was not okay being just a pilot, and even though that is a noble profession, no disregards to that, but I do not find an inherent sense of meaning in just working. Like I if I do just a job, I won't find some inherent sense of meaning in that, and I don't know why is that the case. And I would always feel that I'm doing this just for survival. If I do not have the freedom to pursue whatever my interests or my strengths are. For example, I feel like my strength could be in logic and mathematics, but and physics, and but I was never free to pursue that as a career path. I was always tied down with various expectations of me, and through because of my own deteriorating mental or physical health, I could not give my 100% to topics that interested me the most. I left a lot of my hobbies because I thought they were worthless. I could not pursue them. If I wanted to pursue art, I would think that what's the use of it? And that is one of the reasons why I choose engineering, and I got my degree, I got my job, but that job does not provide me with a sense of meaning. And what the author said, that it is this financial freedom that gives you the freedom and the time to pursue whatever you want to pursue. And now it makes sense to me that every time that I felt this lack of passion and this lack of losing of my hobbies or interests and feeling this emptiness in my life, it was because I did not have the financial freedom to achieve or do whatever I found meaningful. And this made me think how much money matters to me as a person, how much I like my freedom, and how loss of freedom and just doing job for the sake of it shatters my soul because I do not find any meaning in that. I try to find personal meaning that it is something that will bring me money, but I do not find something. My spirituality is not in tune with this job, I would say. I mean, it might be some people for some people, but it is not for me. And for the first time, I felt that okay, the problem was not with me. It was just that I was never taught to think about things this way. That what money means and why am I having to suffer and what can I do to navigate the suffering. I was taught to accept the suffering as it is because this sorts of spiritual or suffering because of lack of meaning is not very common in people, I think. So I could never find this answer which I was searching for. And as soon as I got to know about this, I realized, and I am realizing, that what I want to do, and I am willing to go an extra mile for it. And that's why at this it is 3:30 p.m. right now, and I am feeling that yes, maybe I could do this. The problem was not with me, and for the first time in my life, I'm feeling empowered enough to be able to experiment more with my life with money. Because before that, even though I started YouTube channel, I did not know what to do. I came here, I spoke, but I never knew how to connect or how to really why to do it. But as I was reading this book, I realized that I need to learn about money. Before this, my investing, whatever money I earned from the internship I got, was invested by my dad. I never even paid attention to what where my money is going. And right now I felt that okay, money is so important, and job is okay, it brings us safety, security, but having something outside of it so that I could expand my life and find time in some future, near future, or far future maybe, to do things that really matter to me almost matters as much as it does now. So that's what led me to find a new sense of purpose, and the reason we find why money matters so much to me and why was I suffering. It was not a me problem or a philosophical problem. It was it's just an insight which I never got before. I mean, it might be common, but it was not for me. Why I felt so empty. I always tried to. I always saw people experiment with different things, that they started channels, tried businesses, make mistakes, but I never really invested myself in that because I felt, why do so? First of all, I chose this cosmic indifference as my philosophy, and now I am realizing that choosing cosmic indifference as a philosophy is also a choice that arises from indifference to my life. Like indifference because I'm feeling not empowered enough to make changes. But as I was reading through the book, I started feeling that maybe I can make changes, maybe I do have the power to make changes. And this this confidence also comes because of the fact that as I have a job right now, as I am starting to work, I'm starting to earn, I am also feeling more confident in myself that I could muster up the resources to do whatever it takes and put in the extra effort. Maybe I am worth something. I found my worth in that. But even without that, and through the book it says that you do not always need money to make money. You could make money even without having a lot of money. And I thought that I am starting this job, so maybe it is not really a bad idea if I try to work more smartly and try to achieve financial freedom, or um, get better financially. And this is something which I had never before paid attention to in my life. So it was always like I left this responsibility of money to others, and left in some way responsibility of my life to my father, because he was um, investing, because I didn't feel worthy enough to be doing anything. I just felt like I'm running for survival, that I could, if I could make enough money to feed myself, then that is the end of life. But somehow I had this insight or sorts of personal revelation that I do, I can do things. I mean, job security is okay, it's fine, but I cannot tie my worth to just meaningless pursuits like getting more money but still working just for money. And I want to get above that and not tie my worth to what is expected of me, but I want to give to the society, I want to give to other people what I am capable of giving, what is my version of this life, not what is the life that is forced to me. So it's almost 3:45 right now, and I'm just recording to capture this moment. I were inspired by this book. I wanted to learn more about money and also document my process of learning about money, because it's a good thing, it's a good start, because I'm figuring out, since I did not know about it, there might be some other people who are also as clueless as me. And so I'm thinking of trying to learn more about businesses, trying to learn more about money, and also start series about it where I share my learnings in in short form content, so that it is not a pristine preserved knowledge, but I could do my best to share that knowledge, and it gives me a sense of purpose. Why am I doing this? And this is the sense of purpose which I was lacking from quite some time. And I am trying to capture this moment, this 3:45 a.m. moment when the world is silent, because I want to hold this memory in the future when I'm maybe working on my goals and I could remember that why I started in this in the first place. And I want to come back to this video and look back at my look at my past self, this current self, and thank her for trying, because I have tried so many times. I started so many channels, it always failed. I had bouts of courage, but they always disappeared because I could not manage to keep up with whatever was expected of me. But right now, I'm feeling empowered that I could try once more, and this time I do find a sense of purpose along with a feeling of capability, that I am capable of doing something, that I am worthy of trying to achieve my goals and actually achieving them. So I want to remember this moment. I stayed up till 3 because I was trying to record some other video about that money thing, and I realized that I was working hard, for a future I wanted from quite some time, but I did not know that I wanted. And now I had started to work with a direction, and I wanted to capture this moment, I wanted to preserve it. And the idea about learning about money, about reading this book, and this book was gifted to me by a close friend, very, very close friend. And I feel so blessed that I am able to dream again. I am able to have this confidence that yes, I can do it. I can build a robot. I can build a website. I can build a business of my own. I can build my personal brand. I can do whatever I put my mind to, and I will be able to achieve that financial freedom that I could research about consciousness if I'd like. So I am feeling pretty good about myself right now and confident and with a reason, with some sorts of consolidation that the problem was consolation that the problem was not with me, and finding a meaning that I could do things even if I'm not ready, because life is all about making a lot of mistakes and learning from that. Those who get successful make a lot of mistakes first of all and learn from them. Those who do not make mistakes have got nothing to learn. So maybe it will turn out to be another mistake, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm doing. But in the long run, if I'm able to learn from it, if I'm able to use it, the knowledge will compound. I might fall again and again, but I'll try my best to start as many times I have fallen and more. And maybe that is the point of life, to try as much as you can, to live as much as you can. And meaning is found when you are authentic with yourself. That's it for right now. See you soon. Bye. And to my future self, I hope you are and you will be proud of my current self. And I hope I will be proud of you.